Baptist Church. Come experience the Lord for yourself. Come experience the Lord for yourself. FWBC. Come experience the Lord for yourself.
Your life worth living? How do you feel about your life? If you are not careful, if you devalue your life, it's because you feel it's not worth living. And if you feel it's not worth living, you'll let someone buy you at a discount rate. I think I just said something. And maybe the reason you keep getting into stuff that brings you down and tears you down is because you have yet to value and recognize the worth that God has put on your life. And so as a consequence, you riding around with a cheap price tag and you keep getting bought at a discount rate. I guess you identify with that woman whose husband was the manager of a car dealership, and she went to go see him one day. He said, "Baby, why don't you try this car right here?" And she drove the car off the lot, and she came back in 5 minutes, and a host of cars were following her. She got out of the car and said, "Honey, I don't know, something about this car had all these men honking and following me, and so here, I'm out of here." And so then he said, "Oh my God, I'm sorry," because there was a sign on the back of the car, and the sign said, "Come try me, I'm not as expensive as I look." And it's a whole lot of folk, if you're not careful, you wearing a sign on you, and the sign is attracting stuff in your life that is devaluing your life. But is there somebody here who can testify, I've been bought with the price, who can testify, I know I'm a child of God and I refuse to devalue myself? Well, Darryl Strawberry was sentenced to prison because of his addiction. Darryl Strawberry found himself in prison because of what was in him that was overpowering him and devaluing him, and it caused him to say his life was not worth living. In a word, Darryl Strawberry was lost. Have you ever felt lost? If you live long enough, I don't care what your GPS says, you're going to feel lost. It's like that old couple back in 2006, they were supposed to have a family gathering at Harris Casino just outside St. Louis. And so as an 80-year-old couple, they got in their car and they drove and they drove and they drove and they drove and they drove, and they weren't getting anywhere near the casino. It was only 30 minutes away, but they made, I guess I'll quote Erykah Badu one more time, and didn't you know, I guess I made a wrong turn back there somewhere. Don't y'all judge them. If you look back over your shoulder, all of us that made a wrong turn back there somewhere. They made a wrong turn, but they wouldn't ask for direction. And as a consequence, they had to fill up for gas that night some 3 times. They drove 24 hours and they were lost. Finally, they got found by the police. But imagine how they must have felt. They drove until it got dark. And then you can understand how they must have felt, because they had a desire, but they had no direction. And somebody came to church today and you are lost in your life. You know where you want to go, but you don't know how to get there. You have desire, but you don't have direction. And life has you in a place where you are lost. And so who am I talking to? Maybe it's a Darryl Strawberry-like person and you feel like you had it all, but it wasn't enough because life was not worth living. Or maybe you're like that couple in that you've got desire, but you need some direction, and you came to church today, but honestly, you are lost. If that's you, let's hop into our text. And
Baptist Church.